them off. Welcome to Wake Up Happy Sis, the show that jumpstarts your day with a bang. We're strolling down these self-care streets as we navigate the maze of wellness and healing. We're helping you live happy, healed, and whole. And we do it all with a hearty dose of belly laughs for good measure. Stay tuned and get ready to wake up happy, sis. Okay, there we go. We're gonna get that mic on. Let's start with that. Okay. Well, either way, take one. Clack. That was not a clackable moment. It was not. But we go. This is what we do. This is live. We're live. This shit happens when you're live. Okay. We're gonna start over. Hey, booze. Hey. Welcome back to the Wake Up Happy Sis show. It's me, your girl, Leanne Dulce, your Chief Self-Love Officer and your host here at the Wake Up Happy Sis show. And I've got my fabulous co-host, Sharonda, with me. And we're broadcasting live on KCCR Cityscape Radio, where you already know, I say it every time, I'm going to say it again. We're changing the story for our people because we are always telling our story our way, unapologetic about it, okay? It's for us. For us, by us is what we do. Now, today we are trying to embark on a very meaningful journey and topic, one that really touches the core of a silent struggle that many of us face, but we rarely speak about. And sometimes we may be too ashamed or something like that to even talk about it. So, what are we talking about today? Thriving Beyond Survivor's Guilt, also known as Survivor's Remorse, a journey of self-rediscovery. I mean, in this episode, what we're going to be doing is we're diving into the heart of survivor's remorse, survivor's guilt, unraveling its complexities and exploring how it can cast shadows on our success and on our self-care and our wellness routines. But more importantly, our goal here, as always, is to shine a light on the path to healing. So, we're going to be bringing in a little bit later one of my good friends, Tiran Jackson, because he's dealt with this in his own life. And his mission now is to help people find their resilience and their path back to healing and happiness and a feeling of being whole again. So we're going to talk to him. And, we're going to give you the tips. We're going to give you the stories where I am trying not to cry this show because I don't want to cry. But this is a topic that's close to my heart, too. So if you've ever felt tethered to a past that you're ready to move beyond, then today's episode is that light at the end of the tunnel for you, maybe. So we're going to go from guilt to gratitude, from self-sabotage to self-care. We're going to learn how to celebrate our progress, honor our struggles, and truly move from just surviving to thriving unapologetically. Because I believe it was Lisa Nichols who said, you can't take everybody with you. You have to leave some people where they are, and you can't feel sad, hurt, guilty about your success and you're moving forward and them not. That's their path that they choose to walk. You got to walk your path. So I want to talk about that. But first, we got to get the pleasantries out the way because I got to see how you doing over there.
I was being patient this time.
You was. I saw you. I saw you being very patient. And I was like, okay, my friend over there got patience today. I love it.
Well, good morning, everybody. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever had a 77-year-old hot dog?
I'm not doing it. You think they need to do it. I ain't going to do it. What the hell has been for 77 years, Sharonda? And why are you eating a 77-year-old hot dog?
Well, today is a day of many, many, many happy birthdays to my favoriteest veteran uncle. Today is his birthday and he is 77. And the reason why he is hot dog is because back in the day he used to play softball. And
Mhm.
back in the 70s, they used to, call it hot dogging around and stuff. And so the name
Oh,
stuck.
okay.
Good morning,
Good
Tanya.
morning, Tanya.
You know
We
what?
know Tanya gonna be in the building.
I'm
Tanya
just
gonna
almost,
be in the
real kind of fed up with her in the damn comments, and she need to quit playing and come on the damn show.
I
I
mean,
said what I said, meant what
let
I
me
said.
wait. Let me help her make it easy for her to do that because
What
you
you
know
do?
we keep that one rolling. We keep that rolling all the way down. You can all I'm gonna put it down here so it's just ticking across the bottom the whole show.
Come on in the room,
Everybody,
Tanya.
come
And
on
everybody
in
else.
the room,
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
room. Okay, so back to hot dog.
Yeah. So
Because
he's
I
my
was
favorite.
gonna say I was gonna go a whole different route with that
I'm so
comment,
glad you didn't
and
today.
I
I'm glad
didn't.
you
And
did.
you saw, I held back.
You had amazing restraint. I actually witnessed that today. See, restraint and patience. Who are we? Is it too early for the next season?
We are growing and glowing every day. And if
Absolutely.
you ain't, you need to get you some friends like us in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you. So this guy raised me when somebody else,
Did
all he did was deliver the sperm. My uncle stepped in when I needed him to, and he has been my guy, my guy, my guy.
yeah.
And I love him so very much. This is the brother of my dearly departed mother, and today is a special day for him. And I just wanted to give him a shout out. And I got on video chat with him this morning before the show to love up on him and stuff. And so today, and so that's how you get to have a 77-year-old hot dog.
Well, happy birthday, hot dog. I ain't gonna sing because I ain't gonna hurt my own feelings on this one. I will. I will.
Happy
Happy birthday
birthday to
to
you.
you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday,
Happy
hot
birthday.
dog.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you,
you.
hot dog. Whoop,
Yeah,
whoop.
I can't sing, and I don't mind sharing that.
Look,
Just make a joyful noise and everything.
that's it because the Lord knows my heart. He knows
Absolutely.
it comes
I'm not
from
here because I can sing or can't sing.
that's it. So, okay, well, that's great. Happy birthday. I hope he has us however many more he wants to have in him.
Oh,
You
he
know,
living his best life. He is definitely doing it. He's well and he's healthy and
good.
he's the patriarch of our family. So
Something is going on with our Instagram. Instagram used to have people strolling through, and now my Instagram ain't popping. What in the hell is going on? Like it was like that last week too.
mm,
Like no people strolling. Normally by now we got 50, 60 people strolling in over there. I don't like that. Instagram, don't play with us like this. We ain't here for that.
not today, right now. Mm-mm,
Not
not
on
ever.
today.
Never ever. Mm-mm.
So today, what we're talking about is survivor's guilt, also known as survivor's remorse. What I want to start is by playing a clip that really is what sparked this show today.
Okay.
Um, and it's by Mike Epps, talking about how he has survivor's remorse and how it was really um, harming him, right? And
Mm.
so let me set that up. I don't want to go into too much of it because I just want it to I want him to share his own truth. So come on, Mike.
Man, I did most of the movies on cocaine. All about the Benjamins. I used to sit in Ice Cube's trailer in the morning and be crying, tears. He like, Mike, wipe your face, man. You a king, nigga. Stop doing this shit to yourself. I'm sitting there wiping myself because I was really, I had survivor's remorse. I was so sad that I left all them niggas here in this city and I was famous. And when I would come home, I wanted them to be happy for me, and they was mad at me. So I said, damn, I got to destroy myself for you to like me.
Imagine that.
Mm.
Like, damn, my favorite nigga It seemed like he liked me more when I'm coming down off coke and I'm crying and I hate myself. He was like, oh man, I love you, nigga. I'm praying for you. But when I wasn't high and I was working out and I looked good, he's like, nigga, you think you better than me. I said, nigga, how is my success a reflection of your failure?
Mm.
And that's what happens to the kids. They're around here killing themselves, trying to fit in with somebody who's fucked up.
Yes.
Truth.
Let me type.
Now, I'm a comedian. We supposed to be laughing.
Hmm.
I did most of the movies on cocaine.
Wow.
Now imagine that. Imagine that. And he said something that was so poignant to me in that was, how is my success a reflection of your failure?
Man.
Think about it. The fact that all he wanted was his friends to love and accept him and to be happy for him that he made it out. But instead, it's crabs in a barrel mentality.
You took it out of my mind again.
That's what they want. They want you to fail. They want you to be sad. They want you to be down and destitute with them because maybe they don't have the drive, the determination, the will. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day to make it happen. What are you doing with yours? And I'm going to clap myself on that.
I'll clack it for you too.
Because what are you doing with your 24 hours? Maybe 16 workable if you get in your 8 hours of sleep. What are you doing with that time?
8 hours is a luxury when you grinding as hard as I have in my life back in the day. Period. Working, school, working full-time, school full-time, young family, all of these things at the same. Hell, 8 hours, the fuck?
I'm still on a 4-hour sleep schedule because that's what I was used to. Because I may have not have been married, but I had my daughter, usually my cousins, I would have them too to give my grandmother a break because their mother was addicted to drugs. So she didn't have custody of any of her kids, right? I was working 2 jobs. I was doing all this and taking care, helping with these kids when I was in college, undergrad and grad. Okay. Undergrad and grad school. Okay. I'm taking my daughter. Used to have a minivan. I had 1 child. So that was because I always had like 4 or 5 kids with me at any given time. So I'm working.
That's your entourage.
Yeah, that was my entourage, my little entourage. All my people in Nesby and in school knew all of the kids in my family because they were there. My daughter grew up on the campus at University of Washington. Okay. I had her when I was a sophomore in college. So she was going to school with me.
I'm very proud of you for sticking it out. I can't imagine how hard it was for you, but you stuck it out and you walked that stage. I'm very proud of you.
And this is the thing. But sometimes I feel I wholeheartedly feel Mike Epps in that. So let's talk a little bit about what is survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt. Okay. And what it is a feeling that arrives when you feel guilty for surviving and thriving when others around you have not, especially the people closest to you that you want to love you, to support you, to be happy for you. And it's often rooted in traumatic events, but it can also just come from outpacing your peers or your family in success. So think about MC Hammer when he made it and he tried to take his whole entourage with him. You traveling with a crew of 100 people.
Was it that big? Well, it was always.
It was like 100 people.
He was deep.
And he was paying for all these people. I feel like he was doing that because he had some survivor's guilt and he was trying to make sure that he could bring everybody with him. Lisa Nichols said it best. And I do believe with Lisa Nichols, who was like, you can't take them with you. Sometimes they are what is holding you back from reaching that next level because you're afraid to leave the people behind. That's the onset of survivor's remorse and survivor's guilt.
Okay, so let's get them straight, y'all.
Yeah.
Survivor's guilt, we're not talking about, not necessarily at this junction, we're not talking about death. We're talking about finally making it out of the crab bowl is what we're talking about.
Yes.
So let's make that clear. Now of course there's some survivor's guilt with, when you throw death into the sentence and stuff, but currently right now we're talking about how Mike Epps, his success, he felt bad because of his success, because his friends couldn't get none or
And
didn't
so he
get
was
none.
sabotaging himself.
Yeah.
Imagine sabotaging your own health.
Oh my God.
When he said, I was doing most of those movies high on cocaine, and every morning I'm sitting in Ice Cube's trailer and I'm crying.
Oh my God.
And you've got somebody else. Luckily, he had angels around him that were not going to let him fail and were going to hold him up. And that's what your friends do for you. Your real friends,
Absolutely.
the ones who are trying to hold you down, baby, cut them off and let them go. But that's the hardest thing to do sometimes.
Child.
Because they will try to hit you with that you think you're better than me. No,
you think I'm better than you.
You think I'm better than you. All I'm out here trying to do is survive and make my mama proud and do something better in my life. I'm out here grinding, going to school, going to work, doing all these things. But I had a lot of friends who didn't make it. Right? Pick up like I've never been one of the, when I was in high school, I wasn't one of the popular kids, but I grew up with all of them. We were all friends. It's not like I was not their friend. I just hung out with the nerds.
Yeah.
I hung out with the nerd. Look, I hung out with some of the strange ones. Okay. Some of the strange ones, like I had one friend, he was very strange. He was very, I'm not gonna say his name. It started with a J, but he was one of those people that he could recite pi like 3.14157 blah blah blah, but he had it to like 20 something digits, like he was one of those, right? Mm-hmm. I was always friends with the underdog, the nerds, the people that other people might shun, right?
Mm-hmm. That later took over the world,
right? But I knew one of my friends became a hacker and he went to prison because he hacked into the Pentagon. I ain't gonna say his name, started with a C. But
if you could just use your powers for the good, though, y'all, just
for good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the concept of survivor's guilt, because what I would do is like one of the popular girls. She was a waitress at one of the restaurants that I frequented. She was a waitress there for a short amount of time. Not a very good one. She wasn't, just honest. Mm-hmm. I go out a lot, right? She wasn't a very good one, but I overtipped her way beyond. She got 50% plus of a tip, and I don't eat cheap because I felt bad that I was at a level and it was like she wasn't. Right? So don't think that survivor's guilt and survivor's remorse has to always manifest in a way that you is something grandiose. Sometimes it is in those small things, but how it looks is it's like a weight that's holding back, can be holding back your happiness, your self-acceptance, your success, how you view yourself, right? It may have you questioning who you are and what you do. And especially for Black women, I think societal pressures, cultural expectations can definitely intensify these feelings. And I think it makes it essential for us to recognize when we're having these feelings and be able to address them head on. Oh, and I see you got somebody who just popped in the building. Let me act like I got some sense over here.
No, so, just be yourself.
You know what? You think you
You see what I did there?
I see what you did. Y'all see how she over here trying to throw little shade. That's what your friends will always do to you too. Gotta throw some shade when you trying to be out here glistening in the sun with your melanin popping. She tried to toss some shade.
You're all of that, but girl, we are too old to be fitting our square peg into the round hole. Okay, ma'am.
I agree with that. You know, we never gonna do that. We're never gonna do that.
I don't have the energy or the brain space to be. What you see is what you get.
Now, don't let this sexiness fool you. I'm older than what you'll probably think. I know you're thinking, oh, she probably only 20. Let me stop lying. But you know, I am older than what people think. Most people don't think I'm as old, and I have lived.
They never believe us. They never believe us.
But we've got a special guest that I am so happy and proud that he is able to join us on the show today. So my friend Tiran Jackson is a dynamic speaker, author, and a visionary entrepreneur who isn't just a survivor. He is a thriver, unapologetically, I might add. His own profound journey, marked by personal tragedy, loss, and triumphant resilience, is a testament to the human spirit that's indomitable and will overcome anything. So I'm going to bring him up to the stage so y'all can meet him and love him like everybody that I've seen who comes into contact with him. Welcome to the show, Tiran. How are you?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Sharonda. Hey, Leanne. Hey, before we get started, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Okay. Leanne, you got more sense than what Sharonda might give you some credit for.
And just today. That's just right now.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, but look.
I like how you had her back like that a little bit.
Y'all black don't crack. None of us look as old as we are. That's a blessing. So
that's it.
That part.
All right, I'm done. We good.
Hey, so
no, we just getting started. We just
look. We'll be a whole fool on this show, Tiran.
Hey, look, it's all good. It's all good.
Just go with it. Just don't resist. Just
don't hold back. You need to toss a little cuss word in there. It's okay. You could. We keep it real, raw, and honest here. If you gotta cry, because we've had criers on here. We too have been criers. We ain't afraid to get.
Why are you talking about me in front of company like that?
But you can shade me in front of
Sharonda, we family now. Come on, it's all good.
So, Tiran, why don't you? I want you to tell people your story.
Ooh, okay. So let me see. How do I want to do this? So I'm going to tell you my story, and then we'll just go wherever from there.
Okay.
So I was an engineer for 18 years. I thought that's what I was going to be doing. Go back 6 years ago, 2018, my wife Malika and I, we were getting ready to go on a vacation. It was our 15th anniversary coming up. And I thought that we were going to just go have us a great time together, spend some time reconnecting, some time at the beach. All was going to be well. We dropped our son off the day before we go to in Nashville, where his uncle is, and I tell him I'll be back in a week to pick you up. We go to the Bahamas, stay at one of these all-inclusive resorts. Everything is good. First 2 days, look, we having a time. We drinking good, eating good food, spending time at the beach and the pool, all these wonderful things. And on the third day, we thought we were going to do something adventurous. We decided we would leave the resort and go on one of these little boats to be able to go on a tour and little excursion and see the island. And when we decided we were going to do it, Malika, she asked me, did I want to do the full day tour or the half day tour? Because, they got different options.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I think I want to do the half day tour because I wanted to go back to the resort and go golfing later that afternoon. And she was like, cool. Okay. She wanted to go to the spa. So we would do our own individual things after we got back. Mm-hmm. So I say that because that morning we wake up, we get picked up by a bus at the resort that carries us to the marina. And as we're getting ready to check in, we walk down this pier, and that's where you have to make your decision on whether you're going to do this half-day tour or this full-day tour. Get on the boat to do the half-day tour. Most of the people were doing the full-day tour, and we take off at 9 o'clock in the morning. And 5 minutes to the ride, my life changed forever. At 9:08, I find myself waking up face down on the surface of this burning boat.
Oh my God.
Unbeknownst to us, there was a fuel leak that was emanating from the fuel tank, and Malika and I were sitting right above that fuel tank. There was no indication that anything was wrong. There was no signs of any issue. And as a result, Malika was thrown out into the water in a different direction. I was still left on the boat, passed out. When I came to, I woke up because my right leg was literally on fire.
Jesus.
I glanced down at my left foot. I could see my ankle bone out. My left foot is just dangling, blood gushing all over the place. Now, there was that second boat that took off the same time as we did, and I could see people from that boat yelling to me, get off the boat, get off the boat. And I tried to push myself up, but I crumbled. I tried to push myself up again, but I crumbled again. I didn't realize my collarbone was broken in 4 places. So the only thing I could do at this point was reach my right hand out, put my fingertips in the ridges on the surface of that boat, and just drag myself a little bit just to keep from burning up. I dragged myself about 4 or 5 feet until I passed out again. Now, I was close to the edge of the boat, and some passengers from that second boat, they came into the water. Water was still fairly shallow. They pulled me off the boat. I was the only passenger that was still on the boat. And they pulled me off, and then 3 minutes after they pulled me off, the second fuel tank exploded. Now, I'm here on this boat, and the only thing that comes to my mind is, what about my wife? Where is Malika? And there apparently was another boat that was nearby that picked her and one other passenger up that were thrown into the water, took them to shore, and they were getting an ambulance coming to pick them up and take them to the clinic. We went back to a different location from the boat that I was on. And when I got there, when we got to shore, I had to get on the back of somebody's pickup truck. They put me on a piece of plywood on the back of a pickup truck and carried me to the same clinic. When they get me to the clinic, put me on a stretcher and wheel me in, that's the first time I hear Malika.
Oh,
I hear her moans, her agony. I hear her suffering, and I can't do anything about it. Out of the 10 passengers that were on the boat, 3 of us were injured badly. Malika, myself, and then one other young lady. They had one doctor at this clinic. When this one doctor finally gets to me, and imagine yourself, I'm here in this clinic, and I'm trying to quiet myself as much as possible to be able to try to hear anything to give me an indication on how Malika's doing. I hear her screaming. I hear a lot of beeps, a lot of chaos. And so I'm just trying to get a feel for what's going on, and I'm praying that my wife is okay.
Yeah.
After a couple of minutes, the doctor finally comes to me, and I ask him, how is my wife? And he doesn't answer. He tells me that we're sending you and this one other passenger to the good hospital because we can't treat you here, and that Malika will be coming later.
Okay.
So now I'm feeling a little reassured. I'm starting to think, okay, well, she must not be injured as badly as I am if they're sending her later. I did notice I didn't hear her anymore, but I was just thinking that they must have given her something to, put her to sleep, sedate her a little bit. But I was optimistic, thinking that I was going to get to see her later at this other hospital. So they put me on an ambulance, drive me to the airport to get me on an air ambulance, fly me to Nassau where they got the good hospital. I go into the emergency room. I'm asking them, what about my wife? And they said, we got to put you in the surgery right now. So I go into surgery. I wake up. It's about 6 hours later. And I'm thinking to myself, when I wake up in ICU, that Malika should be here by now. So when I do come to, there's a nurse in the room with me, and she says she's going to go get the doctors. And when 2 doctors come in, I ask them, where is my wife? They look at each other confused, and they leave back out the room. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the most obvious question I could be asking right now. I knew she was supposed to be here by now. Where is she? After about 5 minutes, they come back into the room, and one of them tells me, Mr. Jackson, we hate to inform you, but your wife didn't make it. But your wife died at that clinic, and they didn't want to tell you that before they put you on this airplane and flew you here. They knew that you were going to have to go through surgery. And so here I am on what's supposed to be one of the most momentous, one of the most celebrated times of our lives. We're on vacation. We're having a good time. And now my wife is gone.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Sharonda. I cry myself to sleep that night because I'm in disbelief. I'm in shock. I'm physically broken. Emotionally, I'm heartbroken. Spiritually, I'm mad at God. Why did this have to happen? I'm still trying to process all of this.
Mhm.
As I said, I cried myself to sleep that night. The next morning, I wake up hoping that this was just a bad dream, but I find myself still in that ICU, still with what's left of my left leg in a wrapped up in bandages, other parts of my body broken and covered up. And I realize I have to do something that's going to be hard as well. That 12-year-old boy that I dropped off, I had to call him and tell him over the phone, son, mom and dad got in an accident and mom's never coming home again. And I have to hear him on the other end of that line. I was in disbelief when I got the news that Malika was no longer here. But for him, this is the only woman he was ever close to, his mom, the only woman he trusted. And to have to hear that news over the phone and have to deliver that news over the phone and have to reassure him, son, look, I know this is going to be hard. This is difficult, but we're going to get through it. And he's asking me if I'm going to be all right. And I'm lying my ass off. I'm telling him, yes, son, I'm going to be all right. Not knowing that that's going to be the case. And to make matters even worse, after we got through that conversation, later that afternoon, I found myself really coming to grips with the fact that I was about to die. As I'm laying in that bed, what they did when they operated on me was they tried to pin together what was left of my foot to what was left of my leg. And what happened was my foot got infected, and that infection started going through my body. So I laid there as I could see the EKG monitor over my head and saw my vital signs go from green to yellow to red. And at that point in time, I was really coming to grips with the fact that, God, you've taken Malika, and now I'm about to die as well. My son is going to lose both of his parents while they were on vacation. And when we start talking about this topic of survivor's remorse, remember, I'm the one who said, nah, let's not go on this full day trip. Let's go on this half day trip. So as I was having to go through this process, now a lot of things had to happen for me to still even be here today. And, you know, and that's a journey we can get deep into. But once I finally got out of the hospital and got into a place where life was going to be real again, that level of guilt, that level of pain associated with knowing that, you know, by one decision, it took the life of the woman that I love, my wife, my best friend, my rock, the mother of my child, the woman who I was building empires with. All of this was gone. Had I sat where she sat, maybe she would be here and I'd be gone. Running through all those scenarios is just one of those things that I had to deal with. I still have to deal with it. Yeah. But being able to move beyond that is what's important. And so yeah. So I'll stop right there, Sharonda. Go get your tissue. Do what you got to do.
Good thing I gave my disclaimer on Monday. I promised her I was not gonna cry. I promised her. So I'm on point right now. Oh my God, man!
It's a heavy story, but I mean that's you know.
How are you doing? How is the boy? I need a silver lining. You just threw me down on the floor with that one, man. Tell me some good stuff.
So I'm gonna tell you some good stuff. So I'm gonna tell you what this has done to me. Take you back. So when I was in the Bahamas in the hospital, they ended up taking me. Basically, I got confiscated from the hospital in the Bahamas. They weren't doing anything but giving me tramadol to deal with the pain, but they weren't treating the infection. So I was on the verge of dying there.
Tramadol? That's a Band-Aid. That's, I think, maybe what they give the military. Tramadol.
Yeah. So now there was a level 1 trauma center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida that saw what happened. This was international news.
Mhm.
They said we're going to try to do what we can to make sure that we can at least save him.
Mhm.
So I got taken from a hospital bed in the Bahamas and flown to that hospital that afternoon after I didn't think I was going to wake up that next day. They get me there. They say that they have to do whatever they can to make sure that I can survive. Now, by now, my mom and my sister had gotten down there to Florida and all. And so they were hoping that I could still make it. They told my family if I would have been in the Bahamas 2 more days, for sure I would have been dead. 1 more day, I probably would have been dead. And they put me in emergency surgery, and they did what they needed to do. They had to take my leg below the knee in order to keep the infection from spreading any further. Over the course of the next couple of days, I went through 8 surgeries in 4 days. I had a broken right foot, 3rd-degree burns on my right leg, a fractured pelvis, a fractured vertebrae, bruised ribs, broken collarbones. And I was in and out of consciousness 5 times in the midst of this whole everything happening. I had to go through short-term brain damage where I couldn't have short-term memory loss for about 6 months after all of this was over with. I went through a lot physically, but
wait, stop. I am so glad of that phrase. We don't look like what we've been through.
That's right.
Look, I look good compared to what I've been through. So I'm
You company.
Yes, you do. Yes,
you
you
saw
do.
me at my worst. And you see me now.
Whoa.
So, but
My gosh.
But I went through tremendous physical trauma, and that was nothing compared to the emotional pain that I had to go through. And then keep in mind, I had to still try to be there for a 12-year-old son who was emotionally, mom and dad were just supposed to be gone for a week.
Right.
And so to have to come back to the reality that she's never coming back. And look, kids, they don't know how to deal with death and grief. They don't give condolences. They say, "I'm sorry your mom died." And that's just a trigger that just gets, so, that's one of those things where, I had to learn how to navigate that on top of everything else. But going back to where I was, the day after I went through 5 surgeries in 1 day, God spoke to me very clearly.
I already knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
What he told me was that that it was Malika's time to come home.
Yeah.
And that, I needed to at least try to get to a place of coming to peace with that. I wasn't ready to accept it, but I had to try to at least listen to that. He told me that if he wanted to, he could have taken me 3 different times. He could have taken me when that boat exploded. He could have taken me when my vital signs went from green to red. He could have taken me that day before, because when I went through all those additional surgeries, I was still very unstable. And so that could have happened. He told me that I was intended to not just survive through this, but to thrive as a result of it.
Like, he ain't got time to hold no punches. He's like, if you really, really want to be serious about this, you know I could have took you 3 times, 3 times.
Yep. What he told me that resonated was that I needed to choose to be resilient.
Yeah.
Be resilient. That was the message that was,
you got no choice,
clear. And at that point in time, I didn't know enough about resiliency to I know you go through stuff, you bounce back from it, people, whatever, but no, it's much deeper than that. And what he made clear to me, he told me that the life that I had before that's come to an end, that's no longer going to be what I was. That life as an engineer, that being, the husband and, father, and having, taking care of them through my job as an engineer was not going to be my purpose and my method going forward. That there was a bigger purpose for me. And that even though it wasn't going to be clear to me at that point in time, it was not going to be the same as what it was.
How could it be?
I accept that the better off I'm going to be. But he said I could either be in pity for myself, or I can keep going. That their resiliency was going to help me. That the obstacles that I faced at that point were nothing compared to the obstacles I was going to have to face afterwards. Yeah. And that's where choosing to be resilient was going to be critical and important. Yeah. So that was where things started to change, even though I had no hope at that point in time. I was laid up in a hospital bed. I did realize I was going to survive, but I didn't know what that life after was going to look like. So I was still heartbroken, still, dealing with anxiety. I had to go through some severe grief, having to come to grips with the fact that my wife is no longer here. The doctors told me I wouldn't probably walk again with a prosthetic until about 8 or 10 months. And if I did, it wouldn't be normal. So, all of these were things that, I was afraid of, I was concerned about. And then, like I said, I lost my best friend. I lost the person who I thought I was going to be with. And so it was a lot. It was a lot. I went through a lot. But in the midst of this journey of finding that resiliency and implementing that resiliency in my life, it's taught me different lessons on how to deal with challenges and obstacles that we face. And that there is so much that certain small things that we shouldn't stress over nearly as much, and other areas in which we need to make sure that we are able to use those issues to create positive change and growth within us, and to be able to accept that and apply it and impact others through that. So that's what led me to be able to move forward. I can gladly say now, my son is 18. He's about to graduate from high school. He is one of the most emotionally strong young men I've ever come across. Our relationship was great before then, but as you can imagine, it grew closer and closer over the years and all. Being able to learn who I truly was, the person that I was when Malika and I got married was not the same person I was right after that accident. When you got that person you bond with and everything, that's your person.
He went with her.
What's that?
He went with her. Went with her.
The things that we used to do, the things I used to like to do were the things we did together. And that's sort of it. And that person, when she left, I was here with the identity crisis.
Yeah.
I couldn't think and do the things I needed to as an engineer because, like I said, my memory wasn't there at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
The person who I relied on and depended on was no longer there. I don't look the same way. I stand in front of a mirror and I'm missing, like I said, part of a leg. I don't look like I did. And I was really broken in so many ways. Mm-hmm. But in going through this journey, it created a time for me to rediscover who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to be vulnerable in ways. I learned how to ask for help. I found a different level of authenticity that I didn't know. But all of this was part of this midlife journey based on the situation I found myself having to face.
Mm-hmm.
So my business, my platform is called Reborn Resilient, mm-hmm. because I was reborn that day that boat exploded. The Tiran that you see right now is not the same Tiran from before. And I've grown and I've been able to touch and help people who are going through traumas, tragedies, or transitions in life,
mm-hmm.
show them how to make the transformations that they need so they can be triumphant again. So I'm no longer, like I said, an engineer. I'm a professional speaker. I'm a life coach. I've written a couple books. And what I really realized is my purpose was to be this vessel, to be able to show people that when you think all hope is gone, there is a way to be able to move forward and find happiness. That no matter what pain that you're facing, if you leverage that pain the right way, it can guide you to your purpose. And you can use that purpose to be more powerful than you've ever been before.
Man.
So, and it's so much more, but I don't want to take up the whole time now. I keep going.
Hey, we are here for this. I've been looking out ever since I heard your name earlier this week. This is all you. This is
right. This is why we're here. I wanted to bring what I wanted to do with this show, right? So what I was saying before you got on was what sparked this whole show was a clip that I saw from Mike Epps, who was talking about how on most of the movies, like when he was doing the Friday movies with Ice Cube, he was high.
Yeah,
I did most of those shows high because he had survivor's guilt or survivor's remorse,
mm-hmm.
because he was the one that made it out of the hood, and all of his friends, all of the people around him, he just wanted to be loved and accepted and them to be happy for him. He was like, but they seemed like they really only liked me when I was coming down off of coke and when I was high and I was doing bad. But as soon as I was acting right, looking good, feeling good, oh, you think you're better than us. So he was, sabotaging his own health and his own self so that he could be liked and loved. And that was what got me into this, thinking about this as a show. And I was like, how many other people are dealing with this on different levels, right? On varying levels of having this survivor's remorse and feeling like, why am I the one who made it and these others didn't? And he had one point that I thought that was so serious there, was when he said, how is my success a reflection of your failure?
Mm.
Right. And I think we sometimes have to think about that. There are always going to be things that happen in our life. There are going to be people we have to walk away from, situations that we have to walk away from, even things that we don't think the time has come for that to end, or you to be moved into another. You never knew that going on that trip was a turning point in your life.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
You hadn't gone on the trip. I'm a believer in things happen regardless of where we're placed, because they are kind of a part of the fabric of our story of what, I kind of feel like certain things are laid out, certain things are choice based. And my question is always, if I had made a different decision, what if you had decided to go to Cancun instead of the Bahamas? What, like, or some,
Yeah.
we can't live in that. We can't continue to live in the what if, because you missed the now.
Okay. My question to you, Tiran, did you love your wife and give her flowers every single day of those 15 years?
I did. I love Malika. I love her fully. She was my person. She was who I intended to be with for the rest of, our lives.
Yeah.
There was no question about that.
So the reason why I asked that is because one of my dear friends passed away years ago, and it was an interracial friendship, right? White lady. Her name was Shirley also.
And I say the whitest white lady.
The whitest white lady. The reason why I say that is because I was her only black friend.
Okay.
So the whitest white lady.
Okay, makes sense now.
And she was the same age as my mom, birthday in January as well, and her name was Shirley. When she passed away, I went to her service. Only black person in the doggone service. And I felt compelled to go up there and to show her family a different side of her. And it was one of the things that I said, because her children were just bickering. Oh my God. And it was something that I said that touched her children so much and so deeply that they came up to talk to me and stuff. And so of course, they want to know what my relationship was to the whitest woman of San Antonio. And so I shared myself with them, and I shared a different side of their mother with them. And I was like, y'all, you got to give the flowers today where they can smell them and appreciate them and know how you feel about them, because all of this shit that y'all doing right here, that's not what she was about. She was such an awesome lady. She treated my son as if that was one of her grandkids. And so she was my mail carrier, or the mail store thing in the strip mall. So I would go and see her all the time. And even when I didn't even have any mail, I would stay there for about an hour or so, and we would just kick it and share ourselves. I mean, it was such a great relationship before she passed and stuff. And so what I'm trying to get at is, you love hard. You let your people know how you feel about them, because tomorrow you may not be here.
Yeah.
No, that's so,
you don't have the time for I should have told her this, or I should have.
Coulda, woulda. We don't have time for that. Okay, we got to do a quick break because y'all got me way past when I was supposed to do. But this is what we do. So you are tuned into the Wake Up Happy Sis show on KCCR Cityscape Radio, where we are changing the narrative for our people because we're always telling our story our way. We'll be right back after this commercial. Hey, sis. Ever feel like you're on the verge of a meltdown? Are you overwhelmed from juggling your job, your family, and trying to fit in me time, but seriously dropping the ball on that last one? Guess what? You're not alone. Introducing the Burnout Recovery Kit. It's your 14-day lifeline to go from burnt out to lit up. Get ready to reclaim your joy, energy, and that I got this attitude. Grab your free ebook, a purpose-driven workbook, daily email prompts, as well as SMS boosters and Q&A sessions. It's like a spa day for your soul, and guess what? It's totally free. Don't waste another minute feeling drained. Go to officialburnoutrecoverykit.com right now and kickstart your transformation. The Burnout Recovery Kit, because you deserve to be at the top of your own to-do list. Don't just cope, thrive, sis. And we're back. So, as we're on our last kind of maybe 10 minutes or so of the show, so Tiran, what about those people who may be going through this and they want to take that first step towards healing, towards resilience? What do they need to do?
So first off, I would say is don't try to do it all yourself. There's a lot of people who, and especially within our community, who don't believe in therapy, don't believe in counseling, don't believe in going to the right people who can help you get through difficult emotional situations. I work with, I'm a certified life coach focusing grief recovery and resilience. And the lessons I learned through going through my experience, coupled with knowing what steps generally apply to people to help them get to where they need to move forward, are key. And I think that there's a lot of things. And when we talk about grieving, what I realized is that I mentioned this earlier. God told me I needed to accept the fact that Malika was no longer going to be here. Acceptance is very hard and very tricky, and it isn't something that you get to. What I find is a lot of people who are suffering from survivor's remorse or the loss of someone, that they're in denial, and denial is the enemy of acceptance. So if you are in that spot, if you are still trying to hold on to things, that's partly because you didn't process your emotions. You didn't fully be able to address what happened. I had to go through, and part of my recovery, not just journaling, but actually addressing head on some of the memories that Malika and I had, some good, some bad. All of these things help get those emotions from inside of you and out. And once you get them out, you're not ignoring them anymore. You can actually go through the process of trying to break them down and heal from them. And so if you do this actively and are taking those steps, I'm not going to say it's not going to make you cry. It's going to make you cry. It's going to cause that emotional, it's going to explode. You're going to have those moments, but that's part of the healing. You know, sometimes you have to break something to be able to actually put it back together the way it needs to be.
Spoken like a doggone engineer.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with that. You do have to, you have to break your ties to what's hurting you, what's stopping you, what's holding you back. I talk about that a lot, is you have to let go of the people, places, things, feelings, the hurt, the pain, the guilt, all the things that are really holding you back from taking those steps forward. And that means you got to unlock them little parts of your soul that you've been tucking away, all that pain and all the anger and the guilt that you feel that's causing you to have the survivor's remorse. Is you gotta bare your soul in front of yourself, in front of God, whoever your higher power is, and just lay it all on the line. I don't have anything else. I'm letting it all go. Because you can't, if you're not willing to sit in it and walk into that storm, you ain't never gonna get through it. You're gonna continue to run from it and be overwhelmed by it.
So let's talk about it. Okay, so earlier we were wrestling around with how we wanted to approach this, and so we thought about the veterans and stuff. So in the process of going to boot camp, their premise is to break you down and rebuild you into a lean, mean fight machine. That was what it was back in the 90s and stuff, right? And so in doing that, it was a metamorphosis that happened with me in doing it. I went in there a doggone unruly, disrespectful knucklehead. Oh my God. This was in 1990. And it was the change that happened over a course of a handful of months. And I came back home. They did not recognize me. I went back to try to see where my friends were. I went and it's in that metamorphosis. When you change, everything around you changes too. Because, but the only thing was that didn't change were my friends were doing the same damn thing they were doing when I left. So it's like, so we're talking about leaving a part of you behind, and that part of you behind is went with the people, stayed with the people that weren't doing anything when I went back after basic training and stuff. So everybody treated me different because I was different and stuff. Like you said, when something is pulled away from you, or you're broken, you're like the engineer, you're broken into pieces, and then when you get put back together, bigger, stronger, faster. Okay, I'm dating myself. Bionic woman and $6 million man, right? And so you get what's the word? You get put back together, and now you're a new creature, because now you're not the same person you were before that change. And change, it's in the word, right? So you're a new creature. All things are passed away. Oh my God, this is going so many different places. All things are going away, right? And you're this new creature and stuff. And so now your life is different, and now you get to be in control of that part. So I had to say goodbye to myself, a part of myself that was still on the block back in Detroit.
That's right.
Just and roses grow through concrete. Tanya Jervy, that is for you. That was one of our members. She already know what it is. I'm talking to you, ma'am.
So we ain't even got to say it. She know.
Oh, I did. And if she need me to say it again, I will. But you become reborn, and you are this new creature, and you are, like your business says, reborn, resilient, because you've now gone through some stuff, and you not the person before that happened to you. Now you have more tools, and now you are new to this thing called life. And man,
but I want to hit on
my faith.
Let me hit on one thing that Tiran said earlier. But see, now you could see when you said something that just knocked it right out of my head. Old people, you gotta let me say it when I'm gonna say it. So go ahead, Tiran.
I got something I want to say. I love your example that you used, Sharon. I'm gonna try to be quick about this. So you were a certain way. You went to the military. The military is a construct. It has a structure that allows that change to occur in you, and you come out the other end a certain way. What a lot of people who don't have that construct, who when they go through their loss, they don't have what's going to help get them that transformation that they need as a result to come out stronger on the other side. That's where the missing piece is for a majority of the people when they have this loss. That's where getting that help, getting that right support, that right structure to help guide you through that change is so critical. And I see people not do that when they're suffering from this survivor's remorse. I see people and hear people who are in pain, grieving, but don't want to take the right actions in order to get transformed so they can get to the other side and be able to flourish again. So anyway, I'm sorry. I love your example. And
no, I think that's good, because if you want something new, something different, you have to be, walk, act, look, think different. We hit our head against that same wall and surprise ourselves every time when it hurts. Right? And I think with a lot of people, it's fear driven. Some people have fear of failure. Some people have fear of success, fear of that change, fear of the new, the different, right? There was supposed to be a shift. There was a calling on your life. And yes, you lost the person that you loved most, right? But how do I say it? Most times, what we're going through and what we've been through is so much larger than who we are, this one moment
Yeah.
in our life. And when you have a calling on your life, when you are here to do something, and sometimes he does have to break you down and take everything from you because there's so much worse that's up ahead for you. And he has to build you, like Sharonda said, into that new thing, into that new creature, into that resilient person who can handle the fight that is coming ahead of you.
Mm.
So when you are going through those things, don't
Hold
think,
on.
always think, that was clackable. That was a clackable moment. See, I had to stop talking because I was about to start crying. And I said, I wasn't crying today. I was bringing my thug feelings to it today.
Thugs cry. Thugs cry.
You a G, Leanne. Go ahead.
I'm a G. I'm a G is what I do. But what we have to know is that change is okay. We have to stop being afraid of the unseen, the unknown, because in those dark times, in those painful times, he is building you into something that you can't even imagine.
Mm.
And you either are going to go into the storm and you're going to face it and you're going to live up to what he is telling you. I think a lot of it, we don't have trust. We don't have faith and we don't have trust. And because we've been through all these things in our lives, some of us, we don't have that in ourselves to even have it in the Most High, because he's moving us where he wants us to be and putting us in position. Right. So if I want to leave people with a couple of tips, maybe one, make sure that you're building a community. Find people who understand what you're going through, who have been what you're going through, right? Because they can help you on that path. Seek professional help. Head on over to Wake Up Happy Sis or to Reborn Resilient. Get the help that you need, because we are here to help you. You don't have to continue to suffer in silence. And start celebrating the small wins. Sometimes we think we have to only celebrate at these big, gigantic things. But you know what? I got up and I got out the bed this morning, and that's more than I've done in the last 6 weeks. So if you could leave people with a tip or two, Tiran, and how they can contact you, they would like to work with Reborn Resilient, how do they do that? So,
So first off, I want to say, so 3 tips or 3 things that people need to understand when they're going through this loss and want to and feel stuck in life, really. I think first, we have to be willing to take the steps to address our trauma or what tragedy that we're facing. Don't ignore it. A lot of people compartmentalize it or act like it isn't there. And then when it pops up, it's like they're a Coke bottle that's been shook up, and now you're popping the top off, and now it's all over. You're all over the place. Because you weren't able to deal with those things when you needed to, in order to be better to manage your emotions moving forward. So that's one thing. The other thing is, build that resiliency. Resiliency is a skill. Some people have it more naturally than others, but it can also be developed. The challenges and the obstacles that we face, if we use them the right way, gather those lessons and learn from it, we can be better suited to deal with a lot of different things coming up in our future. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, just about being able to design where you want it to go after you deal with your setback. Sometimes our struggles can lead to our greatest successes. That gets to where I talk about how, if you look at me, if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be doing any of the things that I'm doing now. And that's part of the beauty of looking at, when you were talking about the silver lining, I reach out and I touch more people now than I ever would have. I've changed more lives than I ever would have. I didn't realize this level of fulfillment in doing that. And that's where my purpose truly is when I was working behind a desk as an engineer. These are the things that come from learning who you are, finding your purpose, and being able to design the life that you're looking for when you can take those right steps. So anyway, those are the 3 steps in which I work to help people through my platform, Reborn Resilient. And for those who want to reach out to me and find me, the easiest way is to go to rebornresilient.com. You'll see a little bit about my speaking. You can book a session with me. You can find out more. But if you go ahead and leave your information, I can reach back out to you and we can discuss where you may be and what steps you need to take to regain control of your life.
Yes. Well, thank you. And thank you so much. You know what? This has been great. And as we say to those we really like, I don't say this to everybody, but you are now a part of, the family. And
we go together real hard. We go together
real bad.
Y'all
And
let me know when I come back.
Here. You come back anytime you want. Sharonda, Sharonda was a guest that never left, Tiran. She was a guest who never left. She came and I gave the spiel because she has you see her personality. And I was like, oh, you're part of the family. You can come back. She was like, I could come back next time. I could just stay. I was like, you could.
I'm back. I ain't leaving. What you talking about?
And look.
At 4 seasons later.
What would I do without her? Right. 4 seasons later, she's still here. What would I do without her? She is such an ingrained part. So you are welcome.
Look,
to come back.
Maybe the sisters might need to hear brother's perspective too from time to time. So just keep that in mind.
No, we always we are welcome. We are welcome, and we welcome men to come and to share their perspective, because that is the piece that we miss a lot of times. Yeah. Right. And so we love having y'all on the show. You are welcome to come back anytime and talk to us and chat with us. And, however you want to kick it with us, we welcome you back.
Well, you know how to find me, Leanne. So,
yep, I got you. I got you. Sharonda, tell the people how they can work with you and find you.
Bookkeepingforlife.com, because your books can be resilient too if you come and see me. I said what I said. Y'all.
That was bars. Now I just started, like, Wake Up Happy Sis is its own corporation now, because I separated from Dulce and Lay. So because don't judge me when I say this, Sharonda, but you're gonna judge me. I know.
You already know I am.
I'm trying to get my Dulce and Lay is so commingled. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got to do this one right.
She's listening.
So I'm about to. So I pay attention. Sharonda don't know I'm about to knock on her door and be like, hey, I need to, because I want to do it right. I want to get, so I'll be talking to you, because I got to figure out how to unmingle that one. And I don't want to start this one. So I went and set up a whole bank at a whole different bank. I pay attention. Okay. So if you guys need that, make sure I know you thought I was hard-headed. I am. My grandma said a hard head make a soft ass, and mine is very soft. So that lets you know I got a hard head. So, it just is what it is. That's it.
I like how she took her grandmother's words and just twisted them all the way around.
I am the embodiment of what she said. I can't help that. Okay. That's my real talk. Okay. And if you would like to join the Wake Up Happy Sis community in the movement, you can join us in our free Facebook group, Wake Up Happy Sis. Just if you look me up anywhere, you're gonna find this beautiful bald Black girl. You're gonna find me in the things that I'm doing, and just come and join. We have a lot of great things that I am trying to build and put out, because this is not about me. This is about helping 1 million beautiful Black women live happy, healing, and fulfilling lives. And this show is one of my ways of doing it. And Tiran, I thank you for being here with us. Look what time it is, Sharonda. You see the time, right? You see that? It's only 11:09. Normally, we ain't even out here till 11:30. But we make an effort to get our stuff together, and we feel if it's less than 10 minutes, we are on time still.
Okay.
So, with that, I want y'all to have the day that you are meant to have, because while you may not be able to control things that happen to you, you can control how you respond. I love y'all, and we will see you back in a couple of weeks, because we're working on season 8, baby. So we got a lot of new hotness coming for you. this next season. So definitely make sure you keep it locked and tune in to the other shows on Cityscape Radio, and head on over to brownstoneworldwide.com. You can find out about our new personalities, because we have some new on-air personalities coming, some new shows, new hotness. So keep it locked right here, and we will see you next season. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Wake Up Happy City.